Bottarga, Wikipedia article audio. Bottarga is the Italian name for a delicacy of salted, cured fish roe, typically of the grey mullet or the bluefin tuna, frequently found near coastlines throughout the world, that often is featured in Mediterranean cuisine and consumed in many other regions of the world. The food bears many different names and is prepared in several different ways. The product is similar to karasumi, the softer cured mullet roe from Japan, guniran, the cured mullet or freshwater drum from Korea and East Asia. Names and etymology. Preparation. The English name, Bottarga, was borrowed from Italian. The Italian form is thought to have been introduced from the Arabic bua superscript 1 era a plus or minus registered trademark copyright, also derives from Byzantine Greek a 3/4 I superscript 1 I 1/2 a 3/4 IOE I 1/2 egg plus I superscript 1 I 1/2 pickled. The Italian form can be dated to ca 1500, since the Greek form transliterated into Latin as ova tarica occurs in Bartolomeo Platina's De Honesta Voluptate, the earliest printed cookbook, and an Italian manuscript dating shortly afterward that closely parallels this cookbook attests to Bottarga in the corresponding passage. The first mention of the Greek form occurs in the 11th century in the writings of Simeon Seth, who denounced the food as something to be avoided totally, although a similar phrase may have been in use since antiquity in the same denotation. It has been suggested that the Coptic Outerakon might be the intermediate form between Greek and Arabic, whereas examination of dialectical variants of Greek a 3/4 IOE I 1/2 egg include Pontic Greek a 1/2 I superscript 2 IOE I 1/2 and a 1/2 Euro I superscript 2 IOE or I superscript 2 IOE in parts of Asia Minor. The modern Greek name comes from the Byzantine Greek, substituting the modern word I plus or minus I superscript 3 IOE for the ancient word a 3/4 a superscript 3 I 1/2. Bottarga is made chiefly from the roe pouch of grey mullet. Sometimes it is prepared from Atlantic bluefin tuna or yellowfin tuna. It is massaged by hand to eliminate air pockets, then dried and cured in sea salt for a few weeks. The result is a hard, dry slab that sometimes is coated in beeswax for preservation purposes. Not all Bottarga is coated in beeswax, as some producers simply keep intact the natural casing of the roe, which contains the eggs securely once dried and salted. The curing time may vary depending on the producer and the desired texture as well as the preference of the consumers, which varies by country. Sometimes called the caviar of the South, Bottarga usually is sliced thinly or grated when it is served. The delicacy currently is served in many regions, including the following regions. In Croatia, the delicacy is known as butarga or butarda. It is usually fried before serving. In the French region, Provence, it is named Pout Argue and produced in the city of Martigues. It also may be called Bout Argue in France. Croatia. In Greece, Avgodariho is produced primarily from the flathead mullet caught in Greek lagoons. The whole mature ovaries are removed from the fish, washed with water, salted with natural sea salt, dried under the sun, and sealed in melted beeswax. Avgodariho Mesolonghiu, made from fish caught in the Mesolonghi Italico lagoons, is a European and Greek protected designation of origin, one of the few seafood products with a PDO. In Italy, it is best known in Sicilian and Sardinian cuisine as Bottarga. Its culinary properties may be compared to those of dry anchovies, although it is much more expensive. Often, it is served with olive oil or lemon juice as an appetizer accompanied by bread or crostini. It is also used in pasta dishes. France. Bottarga is categorized as a traditional food product. It varies by region, in particular, is produced in Sardinia from flathead mullet and in Sicily from bluefin tuna. Greece. In Lebanon it is served sliced, where each slice is covered with a piece of raw garlic and the whole is immersed in olive oil, then eaten with flat bread. Italy. Bottarga is produced in Mauritania and Senegal. In Turkey, Bottarga is made from grey mullet roe. It is listed in the Ark of Taste. It is produced in Dalyan, on the southwestern coast of Turkey, from the mature fish migrating from Lake Qaishiyas. Lebanon. Bottarga in Spain is produced and consumed mainly in the country's southeastern region, in the autonomous community of Murcia and the province of Alicante. It is usually made from a variety of roes including, among others, grey mullet, tuna, bonito, or even black drum or common ling. Much of its production is centered around the town of San Pedro del Piñador, to the shores of the Mar Menor, where there are also salt ponds that are commercially exploited. The Ana Maria Fish Company in the Cortez fishing village located in Manatee County, Florida, alongside a recently established and growing company named Gulf Coast Caviar, also located in Sarasota, Florida, processes grey mullet roe into its bottarga that they sell locally, ship internationally, and make available to a few restaurants in the Gulf of Mexico region near Sarasota Bay. The County Tourist Bureau states that the process of making bottarga was depicted in ancient Egyptian murals and that documentation from the 1500s exists that the Native Americans along the western coast of Florida were consuming dried mullet roe when encountered by European explorers. Other locations in Florida also process bottarga. Africa. Turkey. Spain. United States. Notes